Okay, it's between Christmas and New Year in the Highlands of Scotland. We have a very bright low sun. It's not going to get very high in the sky today, and it's about -2 today, so it's not too bad. Snow on the ground and then clear bits as well. So I'm going to come out reviewing drones. I can't think of anything better to do in this lovely weather. And this is a little bit different. The transmitter is exactly the same as the Eachine E58, which I reviewed, and I put a link down in the description if you want to go and have a look at that. And it's going to be pretty similar all round, I think. So it'll probably be a price battle between the two. It's got fake antennas here, just because it's trying to clone the DJI Mavic, I think was the idea of the original one, but these do absolutely nothing, so don't even bother picking them out unless you think it makes you look a lot better when you're out flying your drone. And then onto the actual drone itself. It's a smart looking drone and it folds up really nice, and with these sort of folding props you can actually be able to get it in a jacket pocket, no problem at all, or in a bag. You may well have noticed that it actually takes a micro SD card, which is rather good, and I'm quite impressed. I always like it when I see a decent sized lens on a camera on a drone, and this one is pretty big actually, so I think it's going to be quite a reasonable footage for what it is. This is not an expensive drone, but hopefully it will give us some sort of control and a nice bit of footage. Like I say, you can tilt the camera up and down, and it's sort of got a friction grip on it, so it will stay where you put it, so you can almost point it downwards, and it does actually point up, so you could actually wind up point it up if you want to. I'm never sure why on earth you'd want to point a camera up on a drone, but it does it anyway. So it shoots 720p on the footage apparently, but we'll see that as we go through the review. It's a proprietary battery system, and it's a little bit tight going in there, but it is fine. It isn't going to pop out, which is rather good. And you charge it with a micro USB port there, and obviously it's just an ordinary USB port out the other end, so you plug it in your computer, into your car, and your mains adapter or whatever. It's an 800 milliamp hour single cell battery as well, so it's you're gonna have to buy some more of these if you need longer flights, and I would suggest you do. If I see any packages or anything around, I'll put a link down for you in description. Like I say, it's just slightly tight getting in there, but I like that because it's not going to come out. Folding arms, it doesn't matter whether you fold the front or the back, it really doesn't matter on this one, where normally it does, and when it folds out it actually becomes quite a reasonable size quad there. And as you see, I always sort of think it looks like flappy dog's ears with these things, and sometimes when they start up you get a real judder off the quad, so be interested to see what this one does. But once the centrifuge takes on and the forces get going, they're absolutely fine, and I've never had any problems with them flying. Obviously they'll get out the way as well if you take an impact on things, so I think it's quite a good design. Looks really nice. Onto the transmitter itself now. I do have a little bit of an issue with the transmitter, as in my instructions only told me about the Wi-Fi app that works with the quad. They haven't mentioned anything about the controls on here. I don't think it's rocket science, but I'll run through them as far as I can see anyway. It's a mode 2 throttle, so basically we push this so the quad will ascend, pull it down the quad will descend, and it's got altitude hold, so when you let go it will stop in at the altitude that you let go, and the throttle centre sticked. Now it won't stay in a position, and we do have quite a little bit of a breeze blowing across the garden, so it will drift with the breeze, so it's not got GPS or an optical flow system that will keep it in a position, it just keeps it in altitude. To turn it, you push this to the right and it will yaw to the right, and push it to the left and it yaws to the left. That's basically a turn in on the spot, or a pirouette I would call it. You've got the direction stick here, so the front of the quad is where the camera is, so push that forward and the quad will go forward, pull it backwards and the quad will go backwards, push to the right, goes to the right, so if that's round that way, to the right and to the left. The reason I've sort of put this at different angles is because this, in this mode, is operating from, say, a pilot's point of view, so the front of the quad is always the front of the quad, which makes sense to me as flying it. So if you're going away from you at that angle and you push forward, it's going that way. If you push it to the right, to the left, sorry, there, it will go to the left as far as the quad's concerned, not compared to your position. But this one does actually have headless mode, and you press this button, you get flashing LEDs, and then it doesn't matter in what orientation the quad is facing. The way we bound it up, and this has an auto bind system, so you just turn them on and the quad and the transmitter bind up. If I push forward, it's always forward from my point where I originally set it up, back towards me, and right and left. And these aren't points of the compass. You can literally go, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 22.5 degrees, whatever you want, and it will take action at that point. So and with flying, I always feel it's a sort of feel thing. So if it needs a lot more turn than you think it does, then give it a lot more turn. Don't you know, it's not written in stone how you fly. It's an experience, actually. I love the experience, as you probably guess. Okay, so other buttons on here, you've got your on off here. You've got the holder for the phone, which I'll put on in a minute, and that just simply slides down underneath. So you're actually, we can fly FPV, which means we can look through the lens of the camera on the quad, and we can see what's coming up in front of us. It's usually just for setting up a shot with this level of quads, certainly. So for doing a selfie or getting something in that you really wanted to get in shot, you could actually see what you're doing. For flying through woods, it probably won't keep up speed-wise. There'll be a lag or a delay in the video feedback, which you hit a tree, and then on the screen it will show you the tree 2 seconds later, sort of thing, or a second later. But see how you go. Some of them do work, some of them don't. To start the motors, put them into idle, ready to take off. You pull the 2 sticks down and out. This button here seems to indicate that it would operate the camera. It makes the beeping noises and everything, but it doesn't actually operate the camera. Whether or not you've got a micro SD card in there, you have to do that all on your phone. This one here alters the rates, and it's got 3 different rates, and it basically in rate 1, which it starts in, it will be very docile. 2 will be a little bit more anxious, and 3 it will be like the best it can do. And by that, it alters the rate so that if you give it roll in mode 1, in rate 1, it will probably be low, a little bit more, and then in high rates it will probably be just a little bit more again, sort of thing. That's all the rates does. Makes it a bit more fun to fly once you're experienced, but when you're new to flying, stick it in low rates and just stay there. These ones are your trim buttons, and that alters the trim if you need to. There's loads of videos out there on how to set trims and that. Okay, so fighting for light today is one of the shortest days of the year. It's absolutely freezing. It's about -3 at the moment, and as you can see, we have snow on the ground, so ideal time to fly a white quad. So I'm going to pop the quad on first of all, and this folds out really nicely, this quad. I do like the way it really does pack up nicely. I'm going to leave the camera facing level, just for the first flight, and then perhaps we'll have a play around with it if we can hold how long the battery lasts and how long we get light for. So I'm going to pop the quad on first of all, and it's really nice LEDs. I mean, obviously it's not the brightest day in the world, but the LEDs really do work very well on this. I'm going to try and find somewhere level for it, because I'm going to calibrate it as well. Pop the transmitter on, and then as you saw, we've got flashing LEDs there, and then it has gone solid, which means we're bound to the transmitter and we're all ready to go. To calibrate this one, you pull both the sticks down and in like that, and then it flashes the LEDs. When you're calibrating the gyros, make sure that it's sat on somewhere level and don't move it while it's doing it. I'm just going to flick my phone on. Okay, and I've actually already had a play around with this indoors, so it might well lock onto the Wi-Fi hotspot is set up, and it has already, so we're connected up already with that one. What it does, sets up Wi-Fi hotspot, and you just log on to it. You don't need to be near any other Wi-Fi system, and you won't use up any of your data roaming or anything. The actual app we're going to use is H and -FPV, and I've got a micro SD card in there, so we're actually going to restore back to the actual quad itself. Now when I launch that app, an interesting thing will happen. I press play now. Hopefully you can see that little blue LED down by the micro SD card in there, and now it starts to flash. That doesn't mean it's recording, that just means it's bound to the phone. I just don't understand that as a system. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Now I've had to put my phone around the wrong way on this, because my on off button on my phone is here, and every time I push it there, it just keeps trying to turn the phone on and off because of the way it's held in there. But you can actually rotate this one. So just press reverse on that, and then it's turned it around so it's around the right way. So it works for any phone basically. The only problem with that is it rotates the image, but all your controls are upside down. So when I'm actually flying with it, we'll pay more attention to that. That'll be a lot easier to do. So I'm not going to fly it on the phone this time. I'm going to fly it using the transmitter. Let's start recording, and that will record back to the micro SD card there. That's probably a little bit tight there, so I'm going to pop that down here. The ground is absolutely crunchy solid. Right, so to start the motors on this one, pull them down and out, and there we go. And get flashing LEDs when they're in idle mode, but you haven't taken off. Once you've taken off, you're up and away. That FPV is quite nice actually. Just wonder if some of the apps you can actually clear that when you press it. There is a slight breeze in the garden that is blowing the quad that way, as you can see. So it doesn't matter what way we're facing with the quad. It is drifting that way. So that's not a trim issue. That's an actual a bit of a breeze in the garden issue. There we go. So let's try a flip. It flips okay. The flip is on this button here. Simply press that, choose the direction of flip. It gives it a bit of altitude and it works fine. That's nice. It flies well actually. So that should be in low rates. Press it, it goes into intermediate rates. It's a little bit more anxious. Nothing drastic. But nice. It's a nice little flyer. And that's in high rates. Yeah, that's a bit better. For me, but if you're new to flying, the low rates was really good, and if you're videoing, I would say the low rates would be brilliant. We've got flashing LEDs already because it is so cold. Actually, I'll get it back into low rates, and then I think I haven't got any instructions with it with what the buttons do. I think if you press those two, it does kill it. I hadn't tried that one. So you press those two, and it just kills the motors just like that. So again, let's just prime it and see whether we can get a bit more flight out of it. Let's see that I can get a selfie. Oh yeah, it's such a wide angle lens. That's brilliant actually. Really nice. We're going to stop the video and take a still. Like I say, we've got a little bit of drift going on in the garden. There we go. That is not a bad lens actually. I've been too busy flying and not busy watching, and it's actually quite nice. Yes, you could do gentle yaw as well. I'm getting issues with these with some of the quads. You can't yaw it gently. Yeah, as soon as you touch this, it sort of spins around. You've got headless mode on this one. So that's, oh no, sorry, that's a return to home. Sorry, pay attention. So return to home was going over there somewhere or other, which is kind of weird because that's nowhere near where we took off, because where we took off was over there. So headless mode really doesn't work. There you go, it's just going to go over there somewhere. Whoops. And you have to press headless mode to cancel it. Nothing else will cancel it out of it. Sorry, return to home, nothing else will cancel it. Headless mode is this one. So let me just see what ways. So that's forward. Just depends what way you bound it up actually. That's right and that's left, and it doesn't matter what angle the quad's at. So this is always coming back towards me no matter what way the quad's facing. So back towards me, away from me. And it's not point to the compass, you can do it anywhere. I actually really like this lens for what it is. I think it's quite nice. Let's do a quick range test if I can. And I'm still in headless mode, which I really don't like, so that's better. Now I feel in more control with it. Okay, so just got to come down here, and I know I can do 50 meters from over here up to the other end of the garden. Be interested to see how long the app it flies on the Wi-Fi, whether we get any dropout. Whoa, that's really nice, that lens. They're getting better at these sort of lenses. Well, just getting a bit of dropout there, about 40 meters. That is over 50 meters there. Yeah, I can see it's just level with the trees. Oh, there we go. Whoop! That's better. Now we're more in control. I don't know if it went out of control or whether I was just bringing it back a bit too fast. I wouldn't like to say either way. But honestly, 50 meters on these, probably okay. You might be able to get a little bit more. Just have a quick play. So just bring the throttle down, and when it touches the ground, it will stop going, or if you just hand catch it there. Just going to pop that camera lens down a bit. I'm just going to have a look at the guttering. Or do a little bit of an aerial shot of us, couldn't I? Yep, hey, that is pretty good actually. I quite like this little quad actually. Yeah, hey, look at that. That's quite nice. You can fly FPV. A little bit nervous around these trees here in this garden. Not that I'm not used to them, but it's just with an unfamiliar quad, you could quite easily just drift into them. That works really well actually. Yeah, there we go. So you can sort of check your guttering if you wanted to. Well, sometimes the overhead shots are really quite nice. There we go. We're getting loads of time on that warning with a low battery warning as well. Just got a little bit of drift through there. There we go. Well, that's fine. Yeah, it works well. So that is actually flying really nicely. And like I say, way over 50 metres. Might actually, got a chance, might just do a quick 80 metre test with it. There we go. Let's put the FPV back forwards. And you can do it anywhere in between. And I know I've got 80 metres here. That's nice. Actually, that FPV is pretty much flyable, I think. Well, that's 80 metres. That is quite incredible. There we go. Oh, just a little bit out there. Yours a little bit anxious in high rates. Oh, now we go. There we go. I thought I was losing it there, but no, it's still held on. Oh, I think we're actually... Well, I think we've actually run out of power. Never take it the other side of the house when you've got a low battery warning. And we did lock up on the FPV, but I was the other side of the house, so quite understand that. Oops, there we go. I don't expect there's anything damaged. Nope, nothing at all. I would imagine the battery is just that low, to be honest. Yeah, look at that, we've got nothing in there at all. I did run it kind of out a bit. I put a meter across that battery and I'll just check how low it went, but I bet it's still fine. Okay, so we're all connected up as it were. It was actually yesterday. Today it's -4 and I went to move this because I thought it might just get blown by the downdraft, but it's actually solid onto here. It was reportedly -11 to 12 last night. I don't think it got that cold, but in the Glens it would have been around that sort of level. Anyway, on with the fun stuff. So I'm out flying, so my hands might be a little bit cold. I'm going to, I need to reverse the screen because we had it round the wrong way last time. There we go. So, and we're all up and ready to go. So I'm just going to give this a quick go on the app. And I'm going to record a bit of video, and this time I haven't got the card in the quad itself, so it will just record back to my phone, so the quality won't be as good, definitely not as good, but still worth having to play with. Got flashing LEDs till I turn this on, and then as you saw we went solid, which means we're bound and ready for takeoff. Because we've got an altitude hold model, put this one on and it centres the sticks, and basically we're all ready to go. Well, it sounded like it was coughing there, didn't it? I can't say I blame it. It is pretty cold. I don't know if you can see my breath there. We can film through a steamy environment. Here we go. There we go. Look at that for altitude hold. That is really good. I do like the camera on this one. I was quite impressed with this little thing so far. I haven't looked at the footage yet, but I'll do that in the review anyway. In the summary, sorry. So it flies really nicely. Yep, and nice and slow as well. And that's quite normal with an app, and that's in low rates. Oh, it's still not that low actually. I've had lower. So that's in low, intermediate and high. Whoa! That is pretty good actually. Tell you what, some of these apps are really nice. I've actually used this one before, so it's quite a good one anyway, I found. There we go. So just going to stop that there and then just do a little selfie. It's actually extremely controllable on this app. Nice, it's just the tiniest breeze this morning. Rather good. And even in high rates I can still do a very slow yaw. Now that is unusual with this level of quad. Actually, with the recording I don't tend to show that much because I just show the quality of it because it's more important that you see what I'm doing with the controls. But look at that, that's absolutely superb. Just holding nice. And if you want to get a bit of a move on, it will. Good stuff. So okay, what does this app do then? Well, it flies extremely well. To be honest, that would be all I would really want from an app, but they do more than that obviously. They always do. So it's got a gyro control, so if I press that, Now the quad is controlled by the gyro, so on my phone. So if I tilt the phone to the left, it'll go to the left, right, forward and backwards, and I can still yaw it, so I can still turn it round. And what I do with the grandkids, I get them to turn with it, and then they have a lot more fun, and I don't get so many crashes. And to me, that's quite important. But you can fly as per normal, so the quad's actually facing towards me, so if I tilt the phone forwards, it's just going to come straight towards me. You can of course use the headless mode, which is that one there. So now no matter what way the quad is facing, forward is always, oops, did I press the wrong, oh no, I pressed the calibration one, sorry. Let me just turn that off. Oh, headless mode is there, that's it. So now if I put that on. Whoa, I hate headless, and you can see why, there we go. There we go, so it is sort of controllable, I think. Yeah, that's, yeah, because of course the way I set it up when we bound it up. So that's right, that's left, that's back, that's forward, and it doesn't matter. Let's bring it down a bit. Doesn't matter what way the quad's facing, it's always going to be the same. So that's always to the right, to there. And like I say, you can go off at diagonals and stuff like that. I loathe that, so I'm going to take that off. And I'll take off the gyro as well, which I quite like. I like the gyro. I think the gyro is good fun. This one's got a mission planner thing on it, I think. Yes, it has. I love these. That's British sarcasm for you there with "I love this," with the tone of my voice. If you know the channel at all, you know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to drop this down into low rates. I'm going to put that on there, and then what we do is just draw a little circle there, and it goes around, as you saw. Just sort of missed my tree. And depending on what rate you're in, whoa, you can still use the throttle, and you can still use the yawing. So I see no benefit in this at all, but I'm sure there is. Somebody's going to tell me about it one day, but nobody's managed to yet. So now if I do it, it goes a lot further and a lot harder. The only thing the grandkids quite like about this one is you can do a tigger around and round and round like that. Whee, there we go. And now I'm going to take that off before I crash it. Mind you, I think this thing would be alright in a crash. You've got emergency stop on this one, so simply press that, and that should, that one there, sorry. Whoop, there we go. It's quite a good way of stopping, I suppose. Nice and safe anyway, and you should be able to hand launch this one without any problem. Yeah, there we go. So just, and you get the flashing LEDs, which worried me at first. That's not normal on most quads, but it's fine. It's just warning you that it's in prime, ready to go. Once we give it some throttle, the LEDs go to solid. So I think that's, oh, and it also flips as well, does it? Yeah, it does, it flips on the app. I've had some that don't, so you simply press this button here. Oh no, it doesn't flip forward and backwards. No, it only flips sideways, sorry. There we go. Wait, what more could you want? I actually quite like this quad. It is flyable, that's for sure, on the app, so I'm just going to have a little bit of a hoon around, and then we're off and away. Actually, oh, this is where I trash it up, isn't it? I reckon you could fly the FPV on it as well. And range probably wouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, should we go for it? It's the end of the review. What could possibly go wrong? Whoa, yes. Right, so I'm right in an area that, though I know how to fly it over there, whoa. I really am almost flying blind here, so I'm just flying on the Wi-Fi. Whoa. Oh, no, I've just done a complete loop. It is flyable-ish. Look at that. That's not bad. I'm just about to louse this on, I know I am. That is, yep, that's flyable. That isn't bad. And that was a good, what's that, 60, 70 foot over there, I would say? Meters, sorry, easy. Really nice and controllable. Look at that. That's lovely. Drop it down into low rate, so you've got a really smooth video machine. Yeah, lovely yaw on it. Just really nice. Better than, I think, most of the ones I've tested, to be perfectly honest. And it's cheap. I like cheap. And it's got a reasonable lens on it as well. I like that even more. Yep, I guess I've sort of finished playing now. funny how if you're flying right and everything, you don't get cold outside, even though these temperatures are cold. Oh, I tell you what was cold. The downdraft is freezing. You can see my hand changing colour there, it's going blue. There we go. So We've got flashing LEDs. I cannot say I blame it. And we probably get a load more flight out of it. Nice. And this thing's going to look cool in the night flight in the summary.
Okay, so what do I think of it? At the end of the day, you've probably got the idea anyway. I'd like it. I mean, it's about £40, but there is a code I'll give you that will get it down to £33. I'll put a link down in the description for you. And come back and check out on the channel, or if this is a long time after I've done the review, if there's any other codes I find, I'll pop them down in description for you. So if ever I spot anything for any of my quads that I got on the channel, I'll try and put it in there for you. It's a nice little quad. I like the way these all fold out the way, and it's perfectly safe in your pocket. It does fit in a jacket pocket, no problem at all, and everything's sort of tucked in nicely. I like the fact you can adjust the lens, and I really like the lens. It was really usable. Even the FPV was usable, and it was fun to fly. I just really enjoyed it. The way it folds out as well, I think it's good. It doesn't have locks on it, but actually when you push it into position, it sort of almost drops into a position there, so that whether or not there's something that goes in, there's sometimes a ball bearing or something that just pops in there that's spring loaded, you can certainly feel that it doesn't want to go back, but on an impact it would get out the way slightly, but there's no chance of that sort of just flopping back in by any means at all. And when you open it right out, it's a nice stable little quad. The footage I thought was excellent for what it is. Again, it's not a DJI Spark or whatever. It is 40 quid's worth. If it was £1,000, I'd want something a lot better, and you'd be getting it for that, that's for sure. The props, you get a couple of spare sets of props, and you get a little screwdriver as well, which you need to take it apart with. Just unscrew that and then just replace the props. I've had a couple of incidents, as you saw on the footage there, that haven't even scratched them or done anything to them, nothing at all. So nice and robust little quad. I like the fact you can angle it down, right the way down as well, which is good. And also, if you wanted to, you can actually point it up a wee bit. I don't quite know why you'd want to go up, but you might do. And if you do, that's fine. And it stays where you put it as well, which I rather like about it. The fact it's got onboard micro SD card that you slide into there, and you don't get one with it, because obviously you can just record it back on your phone if you like. And the quality of it, I thought for what it is, was pretty good. I like it. Obviously you've got that impression. The on-off switch is not you don't quickly press it, you have to hold it down a couple of seconds and then it comes on, so there's no chance of it being turned on in a bag or anything like that. And the LEDs were good. I enjoyed the LEDs. The proprietary battery, yes, it's not a pain, but it's a shame it's not just a stock battery that you could just get from anywhere. But to be honest, these things are usually quite cheap when they come out. Might not have come out when I first reviewed it, but again, if I see any battery packs, I'll pop them in for you. It charges very simply with a micro USB connector there and just plugs into a USB, and literally you could use any cable, you don't need the one they've sent you with it, and you could charge it up. It takes about an hour 20 to charge, something like an hour 15, hour 30, something like that. It just depends how depleted it was. And the other thing is, I was getting 7 to 8 minutes. Now these batteries, like a sort of a 10, 12, whatever, complete recycles, then I find you get better and fuller flights with them. Doesn't always happen, but generally it does, and there's other reviewers I know that will agree with that as well. So I think it is actually a fact. It does help them once they get going. I've got no theory of why that works, but honestly, trust me, it does. So it would be even better, but I'm honest here, and I was getting 7 to 8 minutes, but I reckon you get 8 to 10. Also, if you weren't flying in sub-zero temperatures, and we were just under zero on both of the days I flew, you'd probably do better as well. The transmitter itself was really good, and I like it. You know, it works really well. My issue with the phone purely is just this fact that when it comes down, my phone pushes up into here and it keeps trying to turn it on and off. If I turn it upside down, then turn the app round, which wasn't a problem, this bows slightly, so it doesn't actually turn it on and off. But any other phone, I'm sure, wouldn't touch it because it would be out here somewhere or other. So there'd be ways around it, and I did. It worked absolutely fine. The controls on here are awesome. I mean, I like them. I'm coming across more quads like this, and if you're new to flying, what used to happen was you used to give it a little bit of yaw, and nothing would happen. The quad wouldn't turn at all, not at all. You keep going and keep going. You get to about here, and all of a sudden the quad would whip round, and even an experienced pilot had trouble keeping it under control. You had to be really delicate with it. This one is nice and smooth. You put in some input and it just gradually goes around. And even in high rates, it's controllable, but it's a lot more energetic, I would say. So if you want to film, I'd keep it in low rates, and it's really nice and smooth. The whole process of the flying was smooth, even on the app, and that was absolutely excellent. I enjoyed the app flight as much as I did flying it on here, to be perfectly honest. You also get some prop guards with it. You get 4 prop guards. They're quite simple to fit. There's no screws or anything involved. You simply pop them in there and then you're covered. If it goes up on a ceiling, you're going to rub on this bit so you won't actually hit the props, and that's going to protect as well. So it's going to make your quad quite big, but if you're new to flying, definitely put them on. You don't really want to be crashing and ruining your quad on your first flight. Trust me, it can happen. So all in all, did I like it? You know damn well I did. There's no hiding on this channel, I tell you. So yeah, I love it. It's for the money, I think it's really good. I think it's one of the best ones I've tested. If you wanted to, I'm sure it could probably lift a little cam. I don't think it would lift anything like a GoPro, but to be honest, would you really want to put £300 of camera on a 40 quid drone? Probably not. And I think for the footage that comes off it, I'd be just quite happy with it. It's a pocketable thing. Carry your phone, and it flies really well. So it's a big pause up from Tigger's RC Reviews. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've certainly enjoyed making it for you, and I'll see you on the next one.